UFC 324 just got leaked, and in today's video, we're going to be going over all the news, including who will be fighting in the main event, as well as when and where this fight will be. And we are also going to give you guys an early breakdown and prediction of this fight, so make sure you stay to the end to get all the news. Subscribing to this channel is like buying Bitcoin in 2016, because we're about to blow up, and then you'll be a day one. But with that being said, let's get right into this video and talk about the news. So you might be thinking to yourself, Travis, it's not even UFC 321 yet. How do you know what UFC 324 is? Well, let me tell you. So 321 is going to be the second pay-per-view of this month, the second numbered UFC card. And then in November, there's UFC 322, which is Islam Makhachev versus JDM. I already have a video about this on my channel, so you could go check out that video about that fight. And we'll have more videos about that fight in the lead up. But then in December, there's going to be UFC 323, which I will be breaking news also on for next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that video. But after December, that will be UFC 324, the first numbered card of 2026. And if you guys remember, UFC signed a deal with Paramount that starts in 2026. So this event will not be a pay-per-view, but it will still be a numbered card. And the fight that they want to lead off this new deal with, that it is rumored to be, is Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. And this fight will be for the lightweight UFC championship. We have multiple reports pointing to this. And as far as date and location go, it seems like it is going to be January 22nd. That part is not concrete yet, but it is heavily rumored. And then the location is said to be in Los Angeles, California. Now this is reminiscent of what the UFC did in 2025. In their first numbered card of the year, they also did it in Los Angeles, California. And that was supposed to be Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. So different lightweight championship fight, but a year later, we have Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. And yes, you heard that right. That is Justin Gaethje, who is only on a one-fight win streak. It's not even a winning streak. And he beat a guy who wasn't even top 10 ranked in the division at the time, who was coming off over a year layoff of injury, and it was a pretty close fight. That's the guy who's getting a title shot right now in the lightweight division. You know, I could complain about that all day, but let's get right into the prediction of this fight. And starting this off, you look at Ilia Topuria, you look at Justin Gaethje. What are their two styles? They're both strikers. Ilia Topuria does have a better ground game, but Justin Gaethje is no lack of a ground game. He was an NCAA D1 wrestler in college, so he does have good wrestling, and that might shock you guys because he literally never wrestles in the UFC. It looks like he's allergic to it. He once tried a takedown and then rolled back out of it like he just made a mistake. It was one of the goofiest things I've seen, but that's just what you get with the Justin Gaethje fight. But that being said, Ilia Topuria is definitely much more of a ground threat. Although lately, he's not been using his ground game at all. He has been here, you guys know, flatlining Volk to win the title, flatlining Max to defend the title, flatlining Charles to win the next title. This guy's putting everybody out cold, and he's putting them out cold quickly. So will he do the same with Justin Gaethje? Let's dive a little deeper into it. If you look at Justin Gaethje's last fight against Rafael Fiziev, it was a pretty close fight. Justin Gaethje did win, but there were times where Rafael Fiziev had him cooked. You know, Rafael Fiziev was hitting him with hooks, hitting him with uppercuts. Like, he had Justin Gaethje rocked quite a few times. And I think you, I, and everybody else watching this video would agree that Ilia Topuria is a more powerful and dangerous striker than Rafael Fiziev. Now, Rafael Fiziev is a good striker, but Ilia is definitely better. And if Rafael could have a close fight with Justin Gaethje, what could Ilia Topuria do to him? But let's take it a step further. Looking at Justin Gaethje's last fight before the Rafael Fiziev one, it was against Max Holloway at UFC 300. You guys all remember one of the best knockouts we'll ever see in our lifetime. It was a spectacle of an event. However, that is Justin Gaethje getting flatlined by Max Holloway. And I know it was a last-second knockout, but it's still a knockout, and he still got outstruck by Max Holloway. And that is no shame to be outstruck by Max Holloway, one of the best boxers ever in the UFC. However, if you remember last year, Ilia Topuria knocked out Max Holloway and outstruck him. So if Max Holloway could do that to Justin Gaethje, I know MMA math isn't perfect, but what is Ilia Topuria going to do to Justin Gaethje? That is now two signs we have pointing that say Ilia Topuria is very likely to beat Justin Gaethje, as well as having better grappling. I'm just throwing that out there. But can Justin Gaethje win? He absolutely can, because Justin Gaethje himself is a strong and powerful striker. He always has a chance to knock his opponent out, even if it's Ilia Topuria. So you do have to give Justin Gaethje a chance here. However, if we're being realistic about this, I think Ilia Topuria should be a minus 300 favorite going into this fight, maybe even minus 400, because I do think Ilia Topuria is one of the best fighters in the current UFC, and I do not say the same about Justin Gaethje. I think Ilia Topuria is a top 2 or 3 fighter in the UFC. You can make the argument for 1, 2, or 3, but Justin Gaethje is not even a top 15 fighter in current day UFC. We've seen Justin knocked out, so if he's any more chinny than he was in his prior career, Ilia Topuria is likely going to find that button and put him to sleep. And for today's Herrick Insider News, this is sad news here, but it is news I want to bring to you guys. If you guys have been subscribers of this channel, you know this is a news segment I bring every video to give my subscribers more value for subscribing to the channel. So if you want this news every video that you won't get elsewhere, you might as well subscribe. And to put this all into context, it is that Ilia Topuria and his wife seem to be going through a divorce. They both have deleted all pictures of each other off their social media. And if that's the case, how is Ilia Topuria going to look in this upcoming fight? He doesn't seem like the type of person to lose focus at all going into the fight. Not going to speculate at all on why they're divorced. We are not a TMZ channel. However, if Ilia Topuria is going through a divorce and he's having these emotions, how do you think he is going to be in that reign? We might see Justin Gaethje get put in a coma. I mean, obviously we hope he doesn't, but that is the type of power and anger we're talking about from Ilia Topuria. We already know how strong Ilia is. He's one of the most powerful pound-for-pound strikers in the UFC today and of all time. And if this is just added anger going into this and more power, that is just not looking good for Justin Gaethje. Now, maybe this plays with Ilia's mind and it's just too much to worry about in a fight camp and he ends up slipping up and Justin Gaethje catches him and knocks him out. Who knows? That question is yet to be seen. We will cover this news as it develops more, so make sure you subscribe to this channel to hear the developing story. But the last part of this video, we're going to look at what this means for the lightweight division, and then I'll send you guys on your way for your day. And first things first, we have Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker, November 22nd. If you guys are subscribed to this channel and been watching my videos, you will know that about a month ago, I reported that this fight was going to happen long before it was ever confirmed. Another great reason to subscribe. But if Arman wins that fight, he is undoubtedly getting the next fight. If he wins that fight, he will be ringside for this fight for Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, and he will have a face-off with the winner in the ring afterwards. However, if Dan Hooker wins, it is not confirmed if he gets a title shot. If he gets a cool knockout, he probably will, especially if he calls out Ilia on the mic. But you still have other contenders like Max Holloway and Paddy Pimblett, which brings me to my next point. Those are the only two top contenders left now that we have Charles Oliveira and Gamrot fighting this weekend who don't have a fight. So let's say Dan Hooker wins. Then you could book Paddy Pimblett versus Max Holloway for this UFC 324 card. Make it the co-main event or a feature fight. You know, they might stack the card, so it might be like the third or fourth fight on the main card. But if you have the winner of the Max Holloway versus Paddy Pimblett fight face off with the winner of Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje fight on the first Paramount card, this is how we create huge fights for the UFC. This is what needs to happen. And that is assuming that Arman doesn't win. If Arman does win, you have him ringside and bring him in. And then as far as Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot go, the winner of that probably still needs 2 more good wins before a title fight because of how top-heavy the UFC lightweight division is. You know, we have multiple contenders with Max Holloway, Paddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, champion Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev potentially coming back down. Like, the winner of an Oliveira-Gamrot fight still probably needs 2 more wins before they even get a title shot. It is annoying to see Justin Gaethje get a shot after 1 fight win streak and saying he's going to retire if he doesn't fight, but I guess that's just the UFC we watched today. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you like the video, consider hitting like down below. It helps the channel out a lot, as does the subscribe. But with that being said, I will see you guys later this week in our next upload. Deuces.